Macros, Mindset, and Muscles.
I'm Coach James.
And I'm Coach Brittany.
We're here to give you the truth about health and fitness.
No gimmicks, no bullshit, just facts.
What's up, Phoenix fam?
What's up? What's up? Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear yourself? You can't. You don't have your headphones on.
That's a good point. Why do I not have my headphones on?
We'll get to that in just a second.
All right.
But for now, it is another Sunday that we're recording. So you're listening to this. It's Tuesday. And we are bringing another guest onto the show today. We are going to start a client story series, kind of with quotes around it. We want to start introducing some of our clients so that you, the listener, can hear different stories about things clients have personally struggled with, how they've helped get over it, over those struggles, and then how working with us has shifted their mindset. I personally feel like this would be more beneficial to you than having a bunch of other coaches on here. Not that we're not going to have coach guests, but hearing people that you can relate to, I feel would be more beneficial.
Yeah, we've shared our journey, but for the most part, we just speak from a coaching standpoint. So hearing from somebody that's in the process, it's very beneficial.
Definitely. So without further ado.
Dun, dun, dun. Who could it be? Who could it be?
All right. So today we bring to you our client, Jennifer.
Jen.
So Jennifer is a awesome person, and she is part of our 445 workout crew. That's what we call ourselves because we work out at 4:45 in the morning.
It's because we're awesome.
So Jennifer, tell us first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just in a nutshell, nothing too personal, just a little bit of info, who you are, family, whatever.
Sure. Hello. First, thanks for having me on. I feel like that's the most proper way I need to introduce myself. But so I currently live right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Obviously, work out with you guys every day. I'm in marketing, high stress job. Love it. I got 3 kids, 2 with 4 legs and fur, and 1 that's an actual human. And then married to the love of my life for 10 years. It'll be 10 years in October. And we just moved here from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we're on our, 4th state? Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee. So yeah, 4th state.
Wow.
There we are.
Super glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So Jen, let's get into your story and tell us, first of all, how you came to, how you got acquainted with us at Phoenix Transformations.
Yeah, so probably I think it was late 2021, me and my best friend, Jennifer, the other Jennifer, we were just kind of chatting back and forth about, what we need to do for our health goals. I had already started following an online program, a program we won't name. But she sent me your Instagram, and I watched you kind of grow, watched you go through your first show, which was kind of cool to see. And then I signed up for you. Actually, I signed up before you did your show, right?
Second show, yeah.
Second show, yeah. And I worked with you through 2022, had to take a pause, and then came back to you in January of this year. So it's kind of where I started. Not really. I started an unknown program. We won't talk about it. Anyway.
We won't talk about that.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah. I know I always love stories, how they come about, because, I believe that people come into your life for one of 2 reasons. And it's you change their life or they change yours, or some kind of combination of the 2 where you're changing each other's. And, when you were this, you were a client that was a virtual, you were a virtual client, and we didn't really know a lot about each other. And then lo and behold, guess what? Hey, guess where I'm moving? Mm-hmm. And not even just that, but you also moved right around the corner from us.
On purpose.
Yeah,
that was on purpose.
She was so excited. She's like, guess who's moving in down the street?
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason, going into that about what you had said, when I first moved down to Louisiana, I was really struggling mentally with my mental health. Big time. It was pretty tough, panic attacks. It was really wild ride. And then I realized real fast what was the most important thing that I could do for my health. And that would be, really get my mental health. I didn't want to take any medicine. I just didn't want to do that because I'd done that before. But then when I met you, like that was the kickoff to seeing how fitness and, just being more mindful of, what I'm doing as far as lifting weights and things like that, that can help mentally along with, other things, my faith, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a blessing in disguise for sure.
It's definitely like the whole package.
Mm-hmm. That's
So-
for sure.
So tell us a little bit about your history, like how you first got into fitness and nutrition, like what made you want to, make that change for yourself.
Yeah. So, truth be told, I don't know if I should say I'm a recovery of eating disorder. Is that the proper way to say that? But I spent several years battling an eating disorder, pretty tough. And just so everybody knows, just because you see somebody and they look great, that doesn't mean that they're not struggling with something internally. So I spent a lot of time struggling with that and realized that that is obviously not the way to go, especially my best friend looking at me going, if you don't get your stuff together, I'm calling, we're getting you help. So fast forward, been clean from that for about 9 years now. And really, I was an athlete all my life. I grew up playing sports. I played softball, I played volleyball, I played basketball. I did track for a little bit of shot put. So being an athlete has always been something that I've loved. Now, I think I lost that whenever I got older and kind of trying to figure that out. But really, it would be probably, let's see, Brett, I've been married 10 years. I would probably say 2017. I really, started going to the gym, really wanted to do that, but I didn't know like the proper things to do. And I always felt intimidated by going to the gym, which is why I chose to do more of an online thing. That really helped me. I found a love for that, which is again, then met you, which was a blessing. And you really taught me how to, consistency is key, even if it is the same workout over and over again. Like I always thought that I had to change it up every single day and heart rate as high as possible. And that's not always right. So, yeah.
So what do you think starting out, how do you feel like your history with like eating disorders, how do you feel like that impacted you in the beginning? Like, did you have to be cautious of certain things, like certain behaviors that would trigger like those feelings when you had your eating disorder?
Yeah, it was really, this is just my experience with eating disorders. It's all emotional based, right? Like not really understanding how things impact me personally. Really identifying those triggers. My entire life was built, I felt like it was built around the way I looked. So any experience that I had, if somebody was mean or if I didn't get, if I wasn't in a relationship, it was because of the way I looked. If I wasn't getting an advancement in my career professionally, as my employment, it was because I wasn't a certain size or I didn't look a certain way. So I always, said, oh, it's all because you are not pencil thin and, just fake looking, if you will. And it was probably not the right terms to use, but I always felt like anything negative happened was because of my size and the way I look, which is so sad now that I say that out loud.
I can totally understand that. You want to ask
Yeah.
the next question?
Except for James. James is like, hey, this is female stuff,
I'm
man.
sitting here because I know the two of y'all have talked a lot about these things, and so I'm hearing them for the first time. So I've really been enjoying listening and hearing your journey. So what does a typical day of fitness and nutrition look like for you now?
Yeah. Really, now that my treadmill's messed up, it's a little tough, but I get up. I really try to get as many steps in early as possible, but I got that 4:45 crew, so we get our workouts in. And then right after I work out, a full fitness routine, it could be core, back, arms, whatever. I really try to get like at least a mile or at least walk for 30 minutes before getting ready for my work day. If I can't get it done in the morning, it's either 11:30 to 12:30. I've got like alarms on my phone that go off that say personal time. I don't get any phone calls. It's hard to get a hold of me because that's usually my time, 11:30 to 12:30 because I work from home. And then if I can't do it then for whatever reason, I usually do it from like four to 5 So I try to break it up throughout the day. I will say morning is the best time because you get it done and it's out of the way. But yeah, that's typically what a day looks like. Try to get my water in. That's important.
Well, how have your goals changed over time?
Yeah, when I first started working with Brittany, it was I got to lose weight. I need to get down to a certain number, based on the numbers, right? But then, just really this year alone, as the months have progressed and started back with her in January, it's been more about preparing my body for when I get 60, 70 years old, because I'll be 40 in September. Don't tell nobody. But
Hey, we'll welcome you to the club.
Yeah.
I'm lonely in the
yeah, I'm about to join you in that 40 club. But yeah, so now it's really not about the weight loss piece. It's about being able to be there for Maggie when she's older. This is going to be a shocker to some, whoever decides to listen, but there's been talks. Again, it's talks. Don't get too excited if your family listen to this about having another child. So, that takes a toll on your body too when you're older and having kids. So really it's about trying to be there for whatever, whether it be grandkids, Maggie when she's older, if I got another kid. So it's about making sure that my body is good to be able to handle those and to also, just be able to keep up with her life.
I love that because we talk about that so much, like just staying healthy, like as you age. And that's not saying that like you don't still want to lose weight, like for health purposes or anything like that. It's just saying that that's not the main focus anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing that this journey is more than just a number on the scale. Like it's the whole package, and learning those daily habits and being consistent in your routine, being able to block off time for yourself and like, okay, in the middle of the day, like this is me time. I'm going to walk. I'm going to make my lunch. I'm going to spend time with my husband, whatever it is for that, hour lunch break that you have for yourself. Like we've talked about before, doing things in the morning because we're freshest in the morning, as parents, especially, and working parents, like at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but I'm useless. Like, don't ask me to do shit at the end of the day. Like y'all are lucky you're getting dinner cooked, okay? Because mentally, I'm checked out at like 3:00.
Yeah, that's why I love our 445 cruise so much. It's because, we're all about to have a long day. We're all about to have a day. We're going to deal with kids. Everyone that's there has children. They have a career. They have all these things. But we all chose to get up and to meet together and to work out, before the day starts, before the sun's up. And it starts my day amazing. And I was just telling Brittany the other day, I was like, I look forward to those workouts. And on Saturday, I have to work out by myself, and it's a little bit tougher, and I miss all you guys or ladies.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And it keeps you, it's the accountability for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always feel disappointed, like not disappointed, that's a horrible word to say, but if I'm too tired or something happens in the middle of the night, we don't get enough rest, and I got to say, hey, I'm not going to make it. Like the rest of the day for me is just like, it's shot. It is not good. I'm like, man, I got to work out by myself, like you said. In the garage is a lonely time, man.
And I know everybody else is in the same boat. Like we're all about to have to go to work. We're about to have to deal with everything, but we're all not suffering, but we're all going through it together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now, like that your mindset has shifted, like what are some struggles that you have personally, like now in this journey, and how do you, like, what are some of your thought processes when you face those like challenges?
Yeah, we were talking this morning about just last week. This last week, I was struggled. You know what I mean? Like, I went on vacation 3 weeks ago, and it was a tough vacation too. 10 whole days. We went from Tennessee to Florida. We made a random trip to Disney, and then back to Louisiana for my friend's baby shower, celebrating her, and then back to Tennessee. It was a struggle. And then, and while I was mindful there and I got some steps in, coming back to my daily routine was so tough. And I say that even now, like when I travel for work, getting back into it, it's like, man. But I'll remind myself that you have to give yourself grace where it's due. Don't give up. If you mess up once, let's say, my boss is like, hey, let's go out to eat at Gus's Fried Chicken, which is across the street from my office. I'm like, I could be mindful there, right? Like you can get, tenders that aren't fried there. while they're still kind of fried. But you know what I mean? You can make those mindful choices, but just know that at lunch or at dinner, when I come back home, I got to, get back on that plan. Don't just say the whole day's done or your whole week's done. And it used to be, I got to count, I got to, count the numbers, all that kind of stuff. But for me now, it's more, this is how I cure my mental health. This is how I make my mental health better. And just getting back into the routine, it's tough. It's so hard, but I get into it because I think now working out is like my love language, man. If you say, hey, let's go work out, like, you know what? I got you. Let's go. Let's go be happy and sweaty together.
I think that's a good point. Like working out is one of my love languages. Like I love helping people feel strong. I love encouraging that and helping people like find balance with fitness and like life in general, because that's what this is about. It's not about like short-term stuff. It's not about like, oh, I got to get in shape for the summer. Like we're just trying to stay strong and healthy for like the duration of our life. And when you look at it as a temporary thing that you do really hard for only a short amount of time, like that's why so many people fail and they gain back more weight than they lost. And you don't, you see so many people struggling with yo-yo like dieting and workouts and stuff when you should just approach it as like, this is just something that I do. This is a part of my life, just like work is a part of my life, just like cooking meals is a part of my life, paying bills, etc. Like it's one more thing on your to-do list that needs to be done because your life depends on it, like your long-term life.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you said about this is what I do to take care of my mental health. Like I've 100% relate to that because like I've shared in the podcast before, my being in recovery, it was something that made me feel good about me. It was like something positive that I'm doing for my health. It's a healthy outlet when I need it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going through something, I'm struggling, I have maybe some tough emotions. It's always been that for me, and my journey has like evolved, but like at the root of it all, it's like that's how I take care of my mental health. And like sometimes it's not about the physical stuff anymore for me.
Yeah.
It's not. I think we briefly spoke about that earlier. It's evolved, and it's how I take care of my mental health, and like we're discussing now, like longevity.
Yeah. And then you get, and sometimes you get out of whack, right? Then you start seeing all these influencers doing lifting weights or looking a certain way, and it's not cookie cutter. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about working with you guys is that you don't create those cookie cutter plans. You really dive into you understood who I was because of your own experience. Obviously, going into your decision to live a healthier life, and then you always ask, what's going on, what is it, and I feel comfortable sharing different things with you that I struggle with, whatever it may be. And Brett will tell you firsthand. My husband will tell you, I'm a much happier individual when I work out. And he usually says, "Did you work out today?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You better get in the garage, girl. You better get in the garage."
I love that you say that. So having a coach, like, you talked about being intimidated and with things before, did you have those worries coming in to work with us? And like, how would you explain to someone what it's like working with us who may be struggling with those same type of intimidation thoughts?
Yeah, I am still intimidated by going to the gym. I just a couple weeks ago went to the gym and I was like, I'm intimidated. I'm here by myself. But you know what? The good thing is everybody there's doing the same thing. You know what I mean? They're all look, and I love it. Now that I go, I'm like, look, we're all here on the same mission to be healthier, right? So I'm like, I don't know you, you don't know me. Let's live these way together. But you guys really go above and beyond. Like I say, you take the time to understand me, your clients personally, and you want to know every in and out, like, because if you don't, because everything affects our health, right? Stress. Did you sleep? Did you go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
You drinking that water? You know what I mean? Like, what type of fluids are you? What all's going on? Because stress in itself creates inflammation. when I don't get enough sleep, I wake up in the next morning, my eyes are all swollen. I got my ice roller going on. I'm like, what is going on? But, you guys really go above and beyond to really understand and learn what I go through and what I do on a day-to-day basis so that you can prepare and say, okay, let's shift these things. And you're not like aggressive in it if I mess up, and not, I don't want to say mess up, but if you don't hit, like last week, I didn't hit my steps. You're like, all right, we hadn't hit 10,000 steps. Let's try to get 8,000, and then you gradually increase. So it's not like an aggressive, but boy, let me tell you, when I'm consistently not doing right, she'll be the first one to be like,
yeah.
all right, you better get it together.
She's tough but fair.
Yeah, for sure. She's probably tougher on you, James.
Oh my gosh. She is so tough.
So you are a podcast listener also. And, one of the things that we got some feedback on our last couple of episodes, we were talking about like fat privilege and like the privileges that we have and the conveniences. And some people took that as like us passing judgment. As a client, have you ever, like as a client who has struggles and, you don't eat perfectly because nobody does, heads up, just in case you didn't know that. And, you don't hit everything perfectly, but you're consistent most of the time. Like that's your norm. So for people who may have listened to the last couple of episodes or maybe have just listened to some of our stuff and feel like we're judgmental people, do you feel like, have you ever felt judged for any of the things that we've done together? Or if you've had a bad week or you're like, hey, I went out and I ate out, I feel like crap. Like, do I shame you? Do we shame you for those type of things?
No, not at all. I have a core group of people, right? I have a core individuals that I share my very personal thoughts and feelings with, and you guys are part of that. So if I've struggled with anything or if I didn't hit my numbers or whatever, I don't feel like judged at all. Look, I'm in my bras and panties sending pictures. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing that you guys got going on. You know what I mean? I don't feel judgment. And let me tell you, even at the age of 40, I still care what other people think about me. That's something I'm working on.
Me too.
I'm going to get to the point at some point where I'm like, I don't care anymore. And there are some things that I don't care what you think about me, but I come to you guys. If I got issues with, Maggie or whatever, I'm gonna be like, hey, you're raising a daughter. You get it. What am I supposed to do with this? So there's no judgment at all when it comes to you guys. And I don't feel that at all. I never have. Even like the first time working with you in 2022, I was very much like 100%. Yeah, it was all virtual. Dang, I forget that. So much has happened between now and then. But even then, like it was more of I put my trust in you because I am investing in the rest of my life. Judgment was not even an option. Like it's not even like I never felt that. Now, sometimes when I post stuff like on social media, yeah, I feel like I'm being judged, but whatever. But not from you.
That happens from us too. Like,
You're totally being judged by the people who don't do what you do regularly.
100%.
That's how it works. Is the people who love to talk shit on social media and like judge you or be like, make comments about your body or what you're doing or whatever. Their chances are they're not doing any of the things that you're doing, and they don't see the value in that. Which is fine because those are also the people that are going to suffer from physical ailments because they didn't take care of their body and they spent more time being an internet bully than they did prioritizing their health and their strength and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand that. So, I don't understand that at all. But yeah, you guys are the least judgmental people that I've ever met. So I find it comical that somebody thinks you are judgmental.
And it's great when somebody can be open because like part of this journey, like you said, we look at a lot of things, not just we look at water and food and sleep and bowel movements and all that stuff, but not just that. Like, how's work going? How's the home life going?
Yeah,
is how's things with the family? Because all of that plays a part in your mental health, your stress levels, how you're feeling. Like, there may be times that we may need to dial things back because there's some other stuff going on at work. There's some things going on. Maybe you need some extra calories here because like you're extra stressed out, Yeah. Maybe we need to take a break from the gym.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to take that off the table for a minute and let you focus on this and then we'll get back to it. You're not going to lose anything. You're not going to lose progress.
Yeah.
We're watching everything. Like everything's fine, but let's prioritize your overall health right now versus like a scale because the scale means nothing.
No, for sure. And let me say that the last two podcasts that you guys did on the fat privilege thing, like It is 100% a privilege to be able to go out to eat and afford those things, right? It is 100% when you look at, other countries and all that kind of stuff. It is a choice that we make to choose to eat that way and to just sit around and not do anything. You know what I mean? I'm saying this as I'm a bigger girl. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not going to say my weight because I'm just not comfortable there yet because that's just what I am. But I'm a bigger girl, and is it a privilege to be able to just go and do whatever? Yeah, because you guys went to Jamaica. You guys saw, you know, what they had to deal with. And then that hurricane came through, which is devastating, right? So that's where that really comes from. The people that are out there saying, "Oh, you guys are judgmental." I mean, they don't know you. So again, do we care what other people think in this situation? Absolutely not.
And it all
We
comes down to, it is a privilege to have the choice.
Right.
To have a choice. And we have so many choices, whether it's in the grocery store or if we're going to exercise or if we're going to sit down and watch Netflix and chill all night or scroll on our phone. Like everything comes down to a choice. And for some people, they don't have that choice.
And that was the whole point of that. And this is why we brought Jennifer on today, because one, she's close and she can be our guinea pig for our client stories. And two, because as a client that's been working with me and has worked with me not just like in person, but also virtually while living, in another state, I feel like her experience is valuable and, her story is valuable and relatable because she's not in her 20s and she has a kid and she has had, a history with eating disordered and disorder type behaviors. So hearing how another person deals with it and handles it and can speak on like her experience I think it's invaluable for people listening to this.
Yeah.
I agree. And all that, plus you have a career. Like you're not just, you're not a stay-at-home mom. Those are all things that people, use and struggle with sometimes, like to, I'd say it, but sometimes they use them as excuses. Like, well, I can't because my kid. I can't because I, work. I can't because of this. And then there comes a person like yourself who has their own career, that has kids, that has a husband, that has bills, that has all these things, and shows up each morning.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring.
Yeah. And that's my me time, man. 4:15 in the morning, from 4:15 to 6:30, 6:45. That's my time, right? That's my time to focus on myself, be able to spend my time on me. So I make sure I take time. Sure.
Jennifer is also an early bed timer. Actually, sometimes she's in bed before me and James.
Hey, yeah, and listen, you want to say that that's because I'm going to work out in the morning, but let's be true. Brett, my husband, he likes his early bedtime too. We're all just straight up 7 o'clock. Look, Mox, our oldest child, our dog, our beagle, he's 10 years old. He'll come in there barking at us if we're not in bed by a certain time. He's like,
That's awesome.
y'all ready to go? What are we doing here? Why are y'all still up? Let's go to bed.
That's because we all prioritize our sleep.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
we
for sure.
we know, like, all right, what's going to happen tomorrow, and if I'm a be worth a damn, I gotta get to bed.
Yeah, my girls down in Louisiana are like, man, I was going to text you last night, but I figured you're in bed. I'm like, well, what time? They're like 8. I was like, yeah, I was out.
Yeah.
I was out.
It was on do not disturb.
Like you can text me, it ain't gonna come through because that D&D is on.
No, they usually text me, and then I'm texting them 4:15.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They're like, what? I'm like, hey, look, that's just how the cookie crumbles for sure.
That's what I always tell like new clients when they start with us too, because we do go to bed so early and we have clients in so many different time zones. I'll be like, look, if you ever have a question or something and just ask it whenever you want to ask it. You're not going to wake me up. Like I'll answer. Just make sure you have your phone on do not disturb because I'm going to text your ass at 3:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. So you're going to get a response and it's going to be before I get busy with the day, which is that time of the morning. So
Sure.
going further on this. So for someone who's just starting out in their fitness journey, what advice would you give them? What do you feel would be like most beneficial for them to focus on getting started?
Man, I had a conversation with one of our friends the other day, and I would probably say start with one goal, like whatever that goal, man, this is tough because used to back when I first started, I could have my nutrition 100%. and man, be crapping on my workout. Or I could have my workouts at 100% and be crapping on my nutrition. You know what I mean? It was never full on. I would probably say, because, health is what, 80% is nutrition and 20%? Is that the rule? 80,
Yeah,
20, is that what we're doing?
80-20.
So I would say, try to figure out, find a coach. That's what you want to do. You got to figure out what your macros are. I 100% am not a fan of let's just eat less calories. Look, people say calories in, calories out, right? That's not me. I used to barely eat 1,200 calories and I wasn't losing no weight. And I was working out like 6 days a week. But like focusing on your nutrition, I would say, because once you can dial that in, then you can really figure out, let's get the steps. Like right now, if there's one thing that I know I can do 100% of the time, even if I'm on vacation or even if I'm out of town working, I can get my steps in, right? So really be mindful of the protein you take in, because that's going to be, your biggest goal. And then how many steps you get in, I would say really right off the bat, focus on that. Proteins first and then your step. And then after that, all you guys, figure out like a consistent workout that you can do, and you don't have to do it 6 days a week. You know what I mean? 3 to 4 days. I'll work out 4 days a week. I get steps in 7 days a week. Like that's the goal. So yeah.
I think those are like really solid points, steps and protein. When we start, like most people that struggle with fat loss to begin with don't get enough movement in the day. Like they think they're active, and I'm not saying that they don't do active things, but the overall activity level isn't as high as they think it is. And, that plays a big role in how your body loses fat. What you do outside of the gym is actually more important than your workouts in terms of fat loss. There's a whole other list of reasons why you should go to the gym and lift weights. But when it's about fat loss, about weight loss, what you do outside of the gym matters more. And we just did a whole live on this topic too, so I'm not going to get deep into it. But, protein is something that most people who have never tracked macros before underconsume.
Mm-hmm.
They overconsume fat, and they underconsume protein. They think that they overconsume carbs and that carbs are bad, but really they just eat highly processed foods that are high in both carbs and fats. So really it's the fats that get overdone, in my opinion, and what I've seen like historically with clients. Most people do overconsume fats.
Because you're cooking, you're cooking everything and, oil, butter, whatever. Everything's got fats in it. Cheese, everyone wants cheese on everything. You know what I mean? So it's just, I can see where people can 100% consume fat.
And buying some convenience foods that like you're saying, they think they're overeating carbs because it's like a sweet thing, but there's a lot of fats that are added into those, even with protein bars.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're doing well because this has some protein in it, but it does have a lot of fat.
Yeah.
So what are your future goals in fitness and nutrition now?
That's funny that you say that, because wasn't it a couple months ago? You're like, oh,
yeah. What are the goals now?
I'm like, we kind of talked about that this morning and then a couple days ago, but my goal now, would it be great to look at the scale and be like, I've lost whatever pounds, you know what I mean? But I think because of where my mind is and, my age, I'm about to hit that club, you know what I mean? At the 40 club, I want to be so on when I'm 70 to the point where like Maggie's like, if she decides to have kids, I can go and run and do whatever with some grandkids, or, maybe when I'm 65, I'm like, I'm going to take up running. I don't know, something to where I'm not just constantly in pain and to where I'm not constantly having to take a bunch of medicine to make me feel better. That's what I want to avoid. So if you really want to dive into it, and I don't even know if this is really the answer to your question, because this is more about longevity. That's my goal, is the end, is the longevity of it, and not being a prisoner to my own body. That is a great way to put it. Boom. That. Drop the mic. Done.
In the podcast.
In the podcast here, that whatever button you want to hit.
I'm going to hit a button. That was it. I did the right one.
There you go.
Wasn't even labeled.
That's it. I don't want to be a prisoner of my own body when
That's
I'm older.
beautiful. That was beautifully
That's
put,
exactly
because,
it.
you know, when you hear goals, everybody thinks like scale or a competition or like certain things but there are all kinds of goals. It could be a strength, you know, you just want to get stronger, or longevity, or not being on medications and being active as we get older. Those are that's what this whole thing is about.
And it's about and really just investing. Like if I'm going to invest in myself and getting up and doing these things, I want to know that in the end, it's going to pay off. Sure, there's some things that I can't control. Genetics, you know what I mean? You know, heart disease runs in my parents, in my family, right? Like that's just the way it is. But things that I can control, I want to be able to do that so much so that you got the end game. I live longer, and when I am, 80 plus, I'm still kicking. I'm the old lady down the road working out. You know what I'm saying? Walking with my dumbbells. That's a goal.
I love that. So it's like, with the end game and the health, like your health issues won't be because you didn't take care of your body.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too, because most of the health conditions that we see today are actually brought on by poor lifestyles and lifestyle choices, sitting more than being active and eating, more calories than you need to. And the list goes on and on, smoking, drinking, all those things. All these lifestyle factors contribute to like this high rate of disease that we see now, diabetes, and like you're talking about heart issues, even cancer, things like that. Like a lot of those diseases are definitely like they're made worse by lifestyle choices. And if you're at a risk for those things genetically, your lifestyle can like speed up like your chances of getting that or whatever. So
Nothing happens. You can't fix something overnight. You know what I mean? It's
No.
not, what did they say? Rome wasn't built in a day. So you got to start small. What are the small things that you can do? Get your steps in, watch that protein intake. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's, to me, I'm like, if there's one thing that I can do, that's it. Like that, we'll just focus on that.
Those small daily wins, they add up big results.
Exactly.
Big
Because then
change.
you get used to it, right? So you're like, okay, I've done this consistently. What's next? I've done this. You know what I mean? Let's just start. What do you say? Checking the box?
yep,
Checking about
There you go.
it just becomes a habit though. Like that's just becomes part of your routine, your daily thing, and you just keep repeating it. And next thing you know, the benefits of those things start coming in, and you're like, wow. Like this whole time I wasn't paying attention and seeing the change, but now all of a sudden the change is here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And when you check those boxes and you create that foundation, you never really feel like you have to diet, like you never feel like, oh, I got to go on a diet. Like, okay, if I have this strong foundation, I know that like, I just got to like increase my steps, maybe I decrease my food a little bit, whatever the case is, like you have all of the foundation set up so that you only have to make small changes in the future. Like if you do need to lose a few pounds, maybe you want to for the sake of like a vacation or something. It's not like some big thing where you're like, oh, I've got to do this and nothing ever changes. Like you already have this the basics down. So, it's easy to make those like body composition changes down the road.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. What's next on the list, man? I'm ready.
That's it.
Fire me off, man.
So we actually went through our questions that we wanted to ask. Is there anything that you want to add that maybe what?
Oh no! I was about to say exactly what you were going to say.
Is there anything that you wish we would have asked?
Man, I listened to that other podcast. I knew that was coming. In my head, I'm like, they don't even.
What's some weights, baby? What's some weights?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that y'all would have asked, but I do want to say that, I grew up with diet. Diet was the key, right? Diet, everything was a diet. And Brett will tell you, and I'll tell you, this is honest. I think I've tried every diet under the sun. I think I've officially hit. Let's mark it off. I have tried diet pills. I've tried, what is it?
GLP-1s?
GLP-1s. What's that other? There was another program that I ordered like $400 or $500 worth of food.
Octavia.
That's it. Yep. Let's drop that word. I mean, I've tried literally everything, and I've always been searching for how to make myself skinnier. And I think I've said this to you before, but the other day, doing my scroll through Instagram, I follow a girl who I look up to her because she's a bigger girl. You know what I mean? And that's my mindset. Like I can't be following these people and looking at these people that are super skinny because that's not my body build. You know what I mean? You and I are totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like God made me in his image, and God's like, you know what? You're gonna be 6 feet tall, and you're gonna be a big girl. I love you for that. And so I followed this one girl, and she was like, the minute that I realized that my body was made for me and who I am as a person and how God made me was a minute that I started to live life. And it's sad that I'm 40 years old and I'm just now getting comfortable in my own skin. And it's really kind of sad. I got a 5-year-old little girl. So like we talk about, man, you got a strong body. That's what we say. We never talk negative about our bodies, right? We always say, oh, we got to make sure we get some protein in because it helps us, right? It helps us to be strong. We never look at it as a diet because the minute that I start putting that negative mindset into her is the minute that I'm just seeing myself grow up again. And I don't want to not say anything bad for the way I grew up. Please don't get that confused for anybody that listens to my family. I'm just saying I've got to change that mindset for myself so I don't raise another me and how my mindset grew up. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And you and I have personally talked about this a lot because our kids learn from us. If we only go to the gym and watch what we eat when we're trying to make our bodies smaller, our kids will get that same mindset. And that's the behavior that they'll default to. If your norm is eating out multiple times a day and you sit on the couch or you sit in a chair more than you get up and move, like that's what your kids are going to end up doing.
Yep.
You know, you have to set the example for your kids, and you know, your kids will instill that in their kids. So like we can change like the outcome, like obesity rates and stuff like that. If we start with our kids, you know, we set the example for them and we just teach them healthy behaviors. Like you said, like, oh, you know, we're not going to say like that food's bad for you. We're going to say, hey, you know, well, you can eat that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And I'll give you more, but you're going to eat your protein first.
Let's see some of this chicken because we eat chicken in our household like it ain't nobody's business. Y'all know what's up.
Yeah.
But the other day, whenever I missed the arms and shoulders, the 445 cruise, so I had to do it later. I did it on my off day, which we won't talk about. But Maggie was home with me, right? She was like, "Mommy, I want to work out with you," and I was like, "I got some 3-pound weight. You know, why do I have 3-pound weights? I have no clue where they came from. But I will say it must have been when I fresh started. 3 pounds, y'all. Y'all know how light 3 pounds is. I probably struggled back in 2021. But Maggie was like working. She was like, "Mommy, what do I do?" And I was like, you know, we were doing the bench and I was like, you gotta, you know, I was just showing her and she was like, okay, your turn. Like it was literally like working out with y'all at 4:45, but my kid, we were jamming. I mean, she loved it. And just yesterday, she wanted an outfit, okay, to look like me. I had on one of that tennis skirt and a tank top or whatever. She wanted an outfit and she wanted to go walk. That's what I want to look like you and I want to go for a walk like you. I said, girl, let's go.
You're my best friend.
Let's go, girl. Now, to be fair, she was like, "Mommy, I'm tired." Because we walked from my house all the way down to the ball field to that other neighborhood and back. She's like, "Can I ride on your back?" I'm like, "Yeah." But then at the same time, I'm like, dang, I'm strong enough to be able to walk that far with my kid on my back too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
you are strong though. I mean, we all work out together in the mornings and like I see how hard you work. I see you getting stronger and like and you're setting an example to your daughter. And that's the coolest thing that you could ever do.
Full circle, and man. Like I'm
personally
not gonna cry about it because I've got tears in my eyes.
Like, I'm having like hold back right now, but like I personally am like very proud of you.
Yeah. All right, I've got tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Don't look at me, Brittany.
All right, so
we're gonna all go cry.
Yeah, we're gonna get off here and be like,
you know, we're like cycle synced and stuff like that too. Hormone, anyway.
Me too. I'm synced in too, baby.
Man.
So we hope that Jennifer's perspective can maybe help somebody out there who may have the same struggles as she does. Like, see how there is another side to it, and how you can shift your mindset to change like how you view exercise and nutrition and things like that. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming and being our guinea pig.
Yeah, if anybody has questions or just anything that you want to ask, you feel free to give me a holler on Instagram, I guess. Brittany will tag me in this. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are.
Also in the Facebook group,
Oh, yeah.
the women's Facebook group, Macros, Mindset, and Muscles for Women. It's linked in the show notes. You can also find Jennifer in the Facebook group. And I will tag her in social media when we post this
Yeah.
week. So
It's fun.
This was a great episode.
I'm excited to listen to it.
Yes.
I got to hear my own voice.
you're going to be like, this is so
You have a much better voice than I do.
No, look, I listen every time she's like, okay, we dropped another podcast. I'm like, let me get my shoes on. That's how long I'm going to walk the whole time. If it's an hour and a half, we're walking the whole time.
All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So thank y'all for listening. And as always, if you have suggestions or anything, you can reach out to us on social media, in the Facebook group, whatever. Also, if you're listening to this and it's Tuesday, July 23rd, we have a scholarship going on. So if you want a chance to win free coaching, you'll need to go to our social media channels to find out how to apply. Super excited. We give away 6 months of one-on-one coaching with either James or I. And it's a great opportunity for you to try to get free coaching for nothing. So definitely go check that out on our social media channels. It's a big deal. Depending on applications, we might even give away a little more. Who knows? We've been known to do that. So
We get crazy.
that's all we got. So until next time.
I'm James.
I'm Jennifer. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Macros, Mindset, and Muscles. Until next time,
I'm James.
I'm Brittany. We're out.